Do you have a great idea for a book but don't know where to begin? Don't fret. Here are some steps that could help you begin a killer novel. 1. Beginning, middle, end. This sounds fairly straightforward, but in the beginning stages of writing your book, it is quite difficult since we aren't sure where the story is going. Well, hate to break it to you, but if you don't know where the story is headed, how it will end, or what the overall point is, then you won't be moving forward in your project successfully. Take this time to write a paragraph depicting the start of your story. Where do we meet the protagonist and antagonist? The second paragraph is all about the climax. Now, this is where it gets fun. Figure out the problem the main character faces. What exciting, suspenseful, dramatic event happens that resolves the problem the main character was given? The third paragraph is the ending. Where is the main character left when the problem has been resolved? What has he or she learned? Two. Personality. Now that we've got the rough sketch of the novel laid out, we have to get into the details. Who are the characters in your novel? What purpose do they play by being in the novel? How do they affect the story? How do they change the main character or possibly even the villain? What is important to these characters? What do they stand for or not stand for? Write down all their attributes from how they look like to their characteristics. Is your character courageous? Funny? Sneaky? Do they have an accent? Where are they from? Be sure to add some quirks they may have. This adds to their realism, which is important if you want your readers to be able to relate to your characters. Harry Potter's Sorting Hat is a great example of this. Each character was placed into one of 4 houses based solely on their personality. And though Harry, Ron, and Hermione are all a part of Gryffindor, their personalities have their differences. Hermione was smart, opinionated, and blunt. 3. Setting. This might be where you need to do some Google searches for research. Where does your story take place? What does it look like? What does it smell like? How does it feel? What is the climate? What kind of weather is this place expected to have during the time of year your story takes place? What types of animals live here? Fauna. You could even practice describing your setting in a few paragraphs and use that in your novel when you see fit. If your novel doesn't take place on Earth, and you're set on having it take place in a fantasy world, a different realm, or planet even, then that might require additional effort. You will have to come up with your own rules with which the world lives by with a lot of thought and great imagination. 4. Chapter outlines. Now that you know the ins and outs of your novel, it's time to piece all this information together. Your chapter outlines are going to include the beginning, middle, end outline you've created, except with much more detail. Like which characters are introduced to the main character and how they will benefit the movement of the story. What events are leading to the ultimate climax? When does the protagonist begin their quarrel with the antagonist? When does the protagonist find out how to resolve the problem? How did they resolve the problem? What events cause the protagonist and/or antagonist to change? Place these events and the details that come with them in order and separate each by chapter. Great work! Upon completing this guide, you will see your novel is nearly complete. All you have to focus on afterward is writing and revising. These steps were created based on my personal experience. Hopefully, these tips will help you. Let me know what you think.